Oh, hey y'all. Oh, hey y'all. This is the Nurture Maverick. The best is on the best of the Nation. Hey y'all. And welcome with something for you guys. A little snickerdoodle. What if Naruto was Nnoitora's reincarnation? Or the reincarnation of Nnoitora Yoga, the Kinta Espada. You guys might be wondering first of all, why Nnoitora? And second of all, why Naruto? I mean, all the others did a freaking. I did Ukiura one, a Grimshaw one, an Aizen one, and they were all Izuku. First of all, Spice Jar. A little bit of a spicy time. Was just the ideas that I come up with on the fly for a story like this. And the idea I have back here, like the ideas I have back here. Oh, you better believe it. You better believe I'm gonna take advantage of that shit. So yes, what if Naruto Uzumaki was the reincarnation of Nnoitora Gilga? Basically, what if Naruto was Nnoitora's reincarnation? Yes. Naruto from Naruto and Nnoitora from Bleach. And basically, as rules for this, everything for this, are use or not use, depending on what your idea of use is for this, the stuff I do on this channel. Basically, Naruto won't actually figure out anything about his connection to Nnoitora until he gets the age. Basically, 4 is whenever they kick him out of the orphanage. Basically, the age whenever they kick him out of the orphanage. Basically, he'll be out in the middle of, Konoha, and he will find him someplace, and it seems that, an accidental cut he got earlier, for some reason it seems that whatever, makes, him being hated so much, it seems like it's not really working, or that it didn't want to work this time. This is basically Kurama, just giving Naruto a favor, allowing him to get a little insight, or a lot of insight, depending on which one you think is which. Yeah, basically, Kurama debuffed Naruto's defenses a little, so he could get cut. It was basically like a rose thorn, and he got cut. But then he saw this a swirly thing, and he's like, "Wait, those are seals." And so he's just like, "Wait, didn't Ruka?" I heard him say something once. That Ruka guy say something about blood seals. And, well, with the limited knowledge that Naruto does indeed have, he, just hoping to all high water in hell that it's a blood seal. He just drags his thumb down and poof, automatically opens the gate. But to where? And basically the Uzumaki Namikaze compound. Yes, Naruto's finding his compound. So he's just like wandering. And he's only 5. Yeah. Basically, Naruto sees that out of all the multiple gates in the compound, all of them, and pretty much any sort of other like a security measure, all seem to be some sort of blood seal. So I've been keeping that working. Waka 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 Nile. It's like Pac-Man, but then you got Nile at the end. Like the Nile, it's more than just a river in Egypt. Oh my god, I made it funny. Anyways, basically, Naruto would finally get up to this house, and well, inside of this house, when they finally got inside, he would see a picture in the main room, and would see, someone who looked all very, very, very similar to the fourth Hokage, and another one, basically, from what Naruto had been told, basically, or overheard, more likely overheard of in the past. He's pretty big guess that this is the Red Death of Konoha, the Red Hot Habanero, Kushina Uzumaki in the picture. But she seems to be pregnant, and, well, seeing as all the seals seem to, open with its chakra, and he has the last name Uzumaki, and, Kushina Uzumaki, Naruto's putting everything together, and I was like, wait, if his mother's Kushina, and this guy, his father's Hokage, holy shit. So yeah, Naruto, like, using common deduction skills, after, slight evidence that end up leading to a clearer picture, managed to figure that one out all by himself. And all at the age of 5. Yeah. So basically, another thing for Naruto is that he would begin to notice that all the different seals that he touched, the blood seals, they seem to have, well, not only his blood, but the seals in general, seem to have changed in color. The main part of the seal is white, as well the part where the blood was traced over the sealing array. The blood that was traced over the sealing array and the array itself. Well, the general main idea, like main reference frame for the sealing array, they're both black. And, this is puzzling to Naruto, but, then there is the realization, which, oh my god, he does indeed have a family, not only that, but his family, he is literally the son of Kushina Uzumaki and Minato Namikaze. He has a family. And basically, after everything being hidden from him, And then, him connecting the dots of the day of the Endami's death after, basically residing his soul in order to take the fox down with him. Being the same day of his birth, and, is also being the day in which Kushina died, basically telling him that his father put the Nine Tails in him. And this is whenever finally he'd be able to get in contact with the Nine Tails. But he'd see that there was another being in there as well, and he seemed hurt. But the more and more Naruto began to interact with this being, the more and more he would start to heal. As if there was a locked away part of him that is just now starting to reform. This part being the Hall of Natural Ability of regeneration. Specifically high-speed regeneration. And eventually, Naruto would come to know this being as Nnoitora Gilga, the Kinta Espada. And basically, there would be some things that Naruto and Nnoitora would definitely disagree on at first. It wouldn't easily help that, Kurama would be in there. But eventually, that's when Kurama would just be like, okay, fine, if we're to settle some peace here, we gotta lay down some ground rules. So, let's get this all straight. You're Naruto. My real name is Kurama. Although I still am the Nine Tails, the Kyuubi. My real name is Kurama. And this guy over here is Nnoitora Gilga, former October Espada, now still former Kinta Espada. Now, so also you, Naruto Uzumaki, my current jailer, my current Cherokee of my power. I bet you're wondering how, after all of the attempts at killing you, none of them really seem to work or do all that much damage. And Kurama would just point over towards Nnoitora, and Nnoitora would finally be like, okay, fine. Kid, it's called Hiero. And out of all the Espada, I'm the strongest. And Naruto would be like, Hiero means iron. Wait, it's a way to defend? And yours is the strongest defense? That's why? That's why it felt like nothing was really happening, even though they were actually trying to kill me? Yeah. All this time, even whenever they were actually trying to kill him, it never really felt like anything was happening. Because of how strong Nnoitora's hero is. And basically Nnoitora's like, yep. And basically Naruto was like, well, I may not agree with everything about you. There are already some things I guess we can make change. First of all, this place, a sewer, really? A sewer is my mindscape? Change. And he just changes it automatically. Ah, much better. Take me down to the Paradise Village where the grass is green and the girls are, oh my. Like, there are no girls here. And Kurama will be like, wrong, I'm a woman. And Naruto would just be like, oh, now I can finish the song. He'd just pew. Nnoitora would actually kind of chuckle at that. He'd be like, you got a funny out of me, kid. I don't know what the fuck say your name was. Naruto? And Naruto would be like, technically it's Kurama and my name's Naruto, like Kurama said. Or did you just tune us both out? And Nnoitora was like, doo 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 doo, like not really like wanting to, enter the subject, the Spider Verse or some shit. And so yeah, basically, considering how much the village pretty much hid from them, I mean, there are indeed some people that treat Naruto decent, but what you've been doing is what you've been doing for 5 freaking years. I think someone's finally had enough. And that someone is 5-year-old Naruto, who, just now turning around to his 6th birthday by the time he makes this decision. Or at least is on the cusp of making this decision. By his 7th birthday, he's just about there. And by the time he gets to his 8th birthday, he's like, finally, he is done with this shit. And he is done with all these empty word promises that the Hokage keeps on trying to bring up to make himself not seem like he's not doing anything to help with Naruto's situation. Naruto is actually pretty surprised how independent Naruto is. And, Kuruma's like, yep, that's my container. Having a little bit of pride inside. And basically, by, Naruto's 8th birthday, he's like, I have had it. And Nnoitora is like, finally, but the trick is, how exactly do you expect to, move it? Move it, if there's guards everywhere. And Kuruma's like, oh, really? You're that unwilling to give the kid, your power? And Nnoitora's like, pot calling the kettle black, asshole. And Kurama would just be like, oh, whoa. That would have actually been painful. Nnoitora did not come here to play. He didn't even come here willingly. He doesn't even know how he got here. Except for death. And, yeah, it's like, death, na 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 na, death, na na na. It's like, shit. And basically, Naruto's like, well, I think I got away. And he would just be like, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, at Nnoitora, and Nnoitora would be like, fine. Very well then. Show them. And he would just throw this giant weapon up in the air, and he'd be like, catch. He'd be like, trying to motion Naruto to catch. And just be like, yeah. And then there would be a one in the shadow of the first, and be like, Hera. And be like, oh, two. What exactly is this called? And Naruto would be like, not this, they. Santa Teresa. And, Grum's actually like, ooh, this could get really interesting. This. Oh, if only I had salt, butter, and popcorn. And I drink a freaking candy. Nah. Wait, if the kid can make alterations to his mind, can I, as a part of his mind, make alterations myself? And Naruto's like, well, if you feel like it, then do it. See if it works or not. If it works, it works. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. And Naruto's like, wow, he's being really chill about this shit. And he seems to, work with Santa Teresa very well. And that is, he doesn't necessarily have a moving target, now does he? Well, it might just, change in a couple minutes. Seconds at best. all depends on how fast we can get everything packed up and get moving on. And basically, one second, like, Nnoitora, just like, he would see, like, that Kurama had indeed made some alterations of her own. And basically be like, ah, yes. Like, just look at Nnoitora, and Nnoitora would be like, what? And just like, before he could even say anything, and be like, pervert! And then just sweet chin music. Boom! Like, sending him straight up the freaking onsen, like, freaking bathhouse. You just sent him skyrocketing out the bathhouse. And Naruto, like, basically, Kurama had basically made herself her own bathhouse. And actual house. And basically, Naruto and Kurama share a lot of creative consultants with each other whenever it comes to the mindscape. Though Nnoitora really doesn't know how to, feel about that or really do that themselves. Or himself, really. That is, well, there is one alteration he's able to make. And Naruto and Kurama seems to have really no problem with it. They actually kind of like it more than the sewer vibe. They kind of find it vibing. Vibing up in here. Up in here. Up in here. And with the way the place is, it kind of helps Naruto acclimate to, harsher climates with the way the place is. And what I mean whenever I say that is basically, the mindscape is like a mindscape version of Hueco Mundo. Yeah, not bitching you. Serious serial time. And so, yeah. Basically, the first few Anbu are like a mix of Anbu and Ruda Anbu. Try to friggin' stop Naruto from escaping. And Naruto would just, like, be like, he just get into the move, like, get into the groove of things. And I forget the release command for Santa Teresa. Be like, Santa Teresa! And all of a sudden, more hands, more swords. Or whatever the hell Santa Teresa is supposed to frickin' be. And then just, like, it would be freaking, it'd be savagery in the maximum. And Naruto would be like, yeah, I kinda actually like this kid. I like his style. And Kurama in the bathhouse will just be like, yeah, as long as you don't start peeking again, I might end up liking you. And, Naruto is like, well, just because I can't peek doesn't mean you have to yell at me. And Kurama's like, that's your fault, you're all the way over there, that side of the mindscape. And I'm all the way over here in this side of the mindscape. And Naruto's like, well, they're not wrong. So just like, pop, boop. And Naruto would be like, ah, shit, I forgot. Pervert! Like fucking Bijudama out of the bathhouse. Basically, just, yeah, it would be a wild ride. Basically, Naruto finally, gotten everything up for grabs and, left on his way. In which, actually, he would end up running into one more person. But this person, they wouldn't exactly seem like they knew what they were doing. Actually, they would actually seem like they were being tailed by another person who didn't seem to know what they were doing. Almost like the other person was trying to get to them to ask them for help. And basically Naruto would be like, hold it. One of you speak first and the other one speak afterwards, because otherwise I won't be able to understand a damn thing you're saying. You just now remember, oh yeah, I can stop channeling this, what did Nnoitora-sama call it? Ryatsu? the spiritual part of chakra and just stops channeling the Ryatsu, and he unsensed erases himself. And basically, these two women, they're just like, what? They are just like eyeing him like a piece of meat, like a fresh piece of meat. Because then like, he looks good. And Naruto's just like, I don't think you guys know how long on the run Naruto's been. He's been going from place to place. Right about now, he's like, he's like 10, but still the girls just can't seem to help themselves around him. And you see, the only like real super similarity in between him and Nnoitora, like personality-wise, is the whole thing with women. Only with Naruto, it's different. It's that he doesn't like weak women. It's not that he doesn't like women; he just doesn't like weak women, like weak Kunoichi. He doesn't like weakness. That's the only problem. And, well, just the two girls would come to him and tell him their names. Actually, that they had 3 friends, but that they went in a different direction. And so they might just have to meet them. And that's whenever 3 people just kind of know, like, foof, foof, foof. Actually, no, you're not going to have to because it's all good, right? Right, sis? And one person will be like, damn it, Kale. Introducing yourself like that is definitely gonna get us spotted. And yes, I said Kale. And basically, this person now identified as Kale, it would be like, aw, but Kaba does it all the time. And then this other person will be like, yeah, but you're not Kaba last time I checked. And Kale would just be like, no, Khalifa-sama, I am not. I am not Kaba. And then this person would just be like, yes, exactly, Kale. So stop trying to act like him. Or are you trying to get us in trouble on purpose? And basically, Naruto would be like, whoa, 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 slow down, slow down, slow down. Whoa, 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 whoa. You 3. You're Khalifa, you're Kale, and this person is Kappa? And the person would just introduce themselves. Yeah, not wrong. My name is Kaba. The most super references up the ass. Oh, and also, up thine ass. Kill la Kill, Akame ga Kill, and Sailor Moon references up the ass. Because there would be one more person, but they would have been hiding behind the person who looked like they had scissor blades. They would be hiding behind them because they weren't sure they didn't exactly, trust. And basically it turns out that the person besides the scissor blade person and the person hiding behind them, her name is Useagi, and the person with the scissor blades, her name is, what was it? I believe Ryoku? Is it like Ryoku or something? And the person behind them would basically be Akane. And it would indeed be admitted that Akane's blade, she can use this thing called poison release, and she can release it. However, the only way she can seem to release it is through her sword. And it's pretty much a one-hit kill for most people that she's ever used it against on their way, on their travels, in which they all met each other. And basically, the Ryuko person, or whatever the frick, the person with the scissor blades, would be like, yeah. And, oh, look, I have two blades. It'll be like, ah, yeah, you thought I had one, now I have two. What you gonna do about it, bitch? And basically, that sends Naruto off the roof. He is like, holy crap, two blades? Like, I have two blades. And Naruto will be like, holy shit, the kid's hormones are going through the roof. And, you know, Karama would just be like, yeah, oh my god, it's like Kitsune and hate. It's like the freaking like a guru voice Team 4-star. It's like, no, I saw a bird kick its ass. Oh my god, TFS Guru is hilarious. I saw an albino Namekian. Like, no, I saw an albino Namekian. Kill it like the rest. God. Anyways, basically, the Usagi person would have like this wand thing, and also they say they also use like tiara as a weapon, but they have to put their chakra through the tiara and or the wand in order to be able to use the attacks. And basically, they can use chakra, but they can only use it through the items. And like, don't worry, because even if they get destroyed, and it's even in the case of Ryuk or whatever, but the same. Basically, even if they get destroyed, they can come back because basically they are actually chakra infused as well. So even if they were destroyed once, if you just call upon your chakra again, you can actually resummon them. They're like summons in a way, like animal summons. And well, however, Khalifa, Kale, and Kaba don't have that luxury. And commenting her sword works like that as well. Basically, like if it gets destroyed, you can just like use more chakra like summon. But you know, the thing is, it's like ridiculous amounts of chakra in order to actually do that. So it still would be pretty wise to make sure it doesn't get damaged to the point of being destroyed, because then you have to use like a bitch ton of chakra just to resummon it back. And basically, let's just be like, freaking Naruto would basically be like, I see. Well, seeing as I seem to be a runaway, well, I am a runaway, but for my own reasons. You guys all seem to be runaways or just random ass travelers that don't seem to really have found themselves a home. And basically, I'd be like, yeah, true. Like, crazy, like, and Kale would be like, yeah, for example, like, me and Sis are from Taki. And Cliff was like, don't you dare mention that place again, Kale. And Kale was like, sorry, sis. And I was like, hey, you better be sorry. And he just like, and I'm just like, okay, I can tell in between the two of you that Taki is a sore subject. Well, then again, there's Jinchuriki, I can tell isn't very liked. And Khalifa was like, that's the thing, we were friends with Taki's Jinchuriki. Her name's Fu. She is the Jinchuriki of the Nanabi, also known as Chome. We were her friends. She was taken from us. That's why we hate Taki. They did nothing to stop it from happening. Damn it, Taki! And then basically, the only one able to stop would really be like Kale and Kale and Kaba would both have to like get in front and be like, stop it! And just in order to make sure like a giant explosion didn't happen. And Khalifa would be like, "Oh yeah, that's right, key release. Yeah, key release." Basically, you know, it's just Naruto's like, I wonder where that's supposed to be. And basically, Kale's like looking at Khalifa, and then Kabba's like, "Well, if you two aren't gonna say anything, I will." It's called key release. It's a combination of all the natural elemental affinities, but only spiritually. None of the physical element of chakra for the affinities, only the spiritual affinities. Spiritual part of the affinities. In that way, that's what key release is. And I'm sure Khalifa has made damn well sure to, show you one of the many different ways in which key release can be utilized. It can also be utilized to do something like this. And basically flying. And basically, Naruto would be like, and basically, you know, Khalifa, Kale and, Kaba wouldn't really seem all that surprised. And Naruto would be like, well, I kind of have something similar to that, but it's not really flying. It's more like walking on air. Creating footholds to allow you to walk on air. Seeing you manage to refine, all three of you have managed to refine this key release to a certain art so powerful and so dense within its own energy consumption that you can soar to even higher heights. And Kaba would be like, "Oh, we'll sure to show you, if you want. I mean, it's not like many secrets have been kept already. I mean, I'm just glad that Khalifa and Kale didn't rat me out, because I guess you could say I was indeed also Arjun Cherokee sympathizer, even though I really wasn't that much of a close friend to Fu as Kale and Khalifa were. I barely knew her before she got taken away. One day she's there, one day she's not. And basically, Naruto was just like, oh, and then, well, what's the story with you three? And basically, Usagi would come up and she'd just be like, oh, me? Oh, boy, oh, bother. Well, how do I explain this? Well, basically, after what happened with Uncle Yashimaru, I really didn't know what to do. So, yeah. Former member of Sand. So, after what happened with Uncle Yashimaru, I don't know if I even be able to be in there anymore and still even know if it was actually still me. So I ditched the place. Hmm. Although there was this boy, Gara. He seemed like a rather nice kid. It's a shame that, as he was also a Jinchuriki, no one liked him. No one loved him, even. Except for his mother before she died. I feel like a coward every day that I remember that look on his face before I left. Before I turned tail and ran. because of how I felt. Now I almost got ensnared in the serpentine jaws of that monster Orochimaru, who was going to take me to help finish his plans with what he planned to do with the Chunin exams. And in doing so, killing the Kazekage, Daime Kazekage. And Naruto would be like, a former Sandman. Interesting. When? Oh, now, for you, and just look over Ryoku and be like, oh, me? It's not like I got much to tell of anything of a story. I just got tired of being in a place that was completely neutral. There's nothing to do, it's cold as balls, and instead of shinobi, it's just a bunch of hard-ass samurai. Not only is it boring, but it pisses me off just to be living in a place so stagnant and so overruled by people willing to refrain themselves from every other place in the world unless it's some sort of summit. It didn't feel right. It didn't feel like being separated from everywhere else. And only coming together whenever it came to politics. Damn it, politics. I thought Mifune would have understood. Though, from what I saw of him, known of him, I sort of kind of can't really tell if he understood or not when I left. That basically would be Ryoku's story. Yeah, basically she was a previous member of Tetsuno Kuni, Iron Country. And as for you, ma'am, and the person with name's Akame, and, well, mm, have been forcibly taken off to a place ruled by a man who reminds you of nothing less but a certain cold-eyed someone. I've heard of the name as Death. Well, this guy, I believe Dodo? Yes, no country was a trip, I will indeed tell you that. A very forceful one, but also one ruled by a madman. And with way too many similarities to how the way I used to live before I was forcefully taken from my original home, in which I don't even remember the name of. I just remember something about the Imperial Army and named General S. Death, and then everything else was snow country, and this, this, this Dodo guy. So I took my chance whenever I could and did, and ran from that Dodo guy asshole. So yeah, we're even taking the Naruto movie into account. Excuse me. But I'm gonna need some lighting for the rest of this. Nice. So yeah, that's my story. I don't even think Dodo knows that I'm gone. Except for the fact that he has one less person to make their life a living hell. From what I did know of it afterwards. How exactly we all found each other? Well, whenever everyone's running like their chickens with their heads cut off, they often seem to find brother or sister within certain circumstances of the other. So yeah, seems that we all came together with each other because we all come together through awful circumstance. And Kale would just be like, yeah, it's hard to admit it. Mm, the Kame-chan isn't right. And basically everybody would be giving off the look like they all seem like family. And, that's something that Naruto's wanted for so long that he just might have an idea. What if, there's how like the 7 ninja swordsmen of the mist? What if the 7 of them, because if you count Kaba, Kale, Khalifa, Akame, Ryoku, and Usagi, yeah, I think that's 7. I think that's a good 7. Or 6 if, Kale and Khalifa decide to use the art of key release to fuse themselves, because it isn't needed to figure out that they can do that. And that Kale can even use the art of key release to go berserk mode. And, well, yeah. Basically, Naruto seems to come up with something. Maybe, seeing as this world doesn't know the Espada, like how Nnoitora was a member of the Espada, what if they were the Espada of this world? And what if, unlike the Espada, they weren't necessarily ranked in any sort of like way specifically, or like any sort of like a specific way, a ranking, or at all? However, the one thing to be noted is that Naruto, as their first member, would indeed be the leader. And everyone seems to kind of realize that out of everyone here, he seems to be the most calm, cool, and collected. So yeah, it wouldn't indeed be a good idea to have him as the leader. So yeah. And that would all be in the span of the 10th year of Naruto's life. And basically, whenever Naruto becomes 11, yes, 11, by then, everyone's pretty much, they've been training, they've been hanging out, and they've been doing what people do whenever they're friends. And, even closer family. And you know what? Even, something else. They've even kind of been like monitoring like the activity of like Jinchuriki in order to keep them safe. It was later found out basically that Taki's Jinchuriki, Fu, was actually shipped off to Gato. And basically, Hale and Khalifa and Kaba were all sent on this mission as sort of a 3-person squad, with Khalifa being considered like the equivalent of a tuning leader. It's like they have 2 different sets. Like, Khalifa's one of the 2 tuning leaders, and the other tuning leader is, funny enough, Usagi. Because apparently her powers are redonkulous. And so, yeah. They even figured out that the whole thing with key releases doesn't really need, if not all that much, probably even no hand releases at all, in order to do some of the stuff it allows you to do. But it's not just specifically key release, it's also like weapon release, which is what Akame, Ryoku, and Usagi call their whole weapon thing. It's like weapon release. It doesn't seem to really require all that much hand signs or any hands at all if you're good enough. So, you're good enough at it. So, basically, Usagi being the tuning level commander of basically what is called squad. Basically, not squad, but let's see, there are actually wings in this. There is a left wing and a right wing. The team of Khalifa, Kale, and Kaba are the left wing team, and the team of Usagi, Ryoku, and Akame are the right wing team. The left wing team's tuning sensei, person member, would indeed be Khalifa, and the tuning sensei type member for the right wing team is Usagi. However, the general, person, master of it all is Naruto. There's just like different ranking. It's like you got the bottom of the pyramid, you got the middle of the pyramid, and you got the top of the pyramid. Naruto's at the top of the pyramid, and Khalifa and Usagi are in the middle, and at the very bottom you have everybody else. And so yeah, basically. Yeah, so basically the mission that the left wing team was sent on was basically to snatch the Jinchuriki of Takikakar, Nosato. The Jinchuriki being Fu, the Jinchuriki of the Seven Tails Chame, the Nanabi Chame, and basically see if she wanted to, just do her own thing, or if she wanted to, be a part. And if she wanted to be a part, they would give her a special test to see if she would be good for the left wing or if she would be good for the right wing. And, well, the entire thing to actually join is kind of a rite of passage. Kind of do a little bit of a rite of passage thing in order to join in, considering either wing. So, yeah. Basically that. So yeah, basically they do it pretty easily. They basically get in there and they're going. Khalifa's not so nice. Kale's like, oh, I think we want to be doing more harm than good, sis. But Khalifa doesn't seem to give a shit. She goes all the way into the second Saiyan transformation, Super Saiyan 2. She goes all the way into that, even just to show how pissed she is at Gato. Only not going full power Super Saiyan 2, just because, might actually hurt Fu, because God knows where she actually is. And, the multiple, freaking warehouse things I have. One of them has to be where the freaking apparently this pisses off Khalifa so much because she figures out Fu is being held up in the room called the Treasury. She's being held up in the Treasury. And Khalifa is just like, okay, damn it, you are so dead. What? I'm gonna kill you! And it's just like, crush cannon, bam! Like, obliterates the dude with a crush cannon. And, yeah. It's just damn. And, well, that's their mission. What's the other mission? This basically being, well, let's just say, the preventing of the message of, the leader of sound to the leader of sand to try and get them to, join up with them, attack the leaf, to prevent that message from actually getting to the sand in the first place. I mean, the sand siblings will still be in the Chunin exams, but the message will not get there. And it's because we're gonna get the right wing team on this, and the right wing team is like, is freaking Akame, Ryoku, and Usagi. And basically, the whole deal with that is the messenger is actually someone that Orochimaru feels he can trust over all of anyone. And that being Kabuto Yakushi himself. Not really specifically needing any special guard except for just a bunch of random ass sound jonin. But that's the problem. Basically, all of a sudden you just hear a sound like a war cry of. You would just hear Nnoitora power! And just like, it gets shot, and basically, Kabuto going to dodge. Basically, just leaving all the sound jonin, in the back of the caravan, basically sent all the way to sand. Basically, leaving all of them to get disintegrated with just one Moon Tiara power thing. Basically, just leaves to the left of Kabuto Akame. To the right of Kabuto, Ryuku. And basically, Kabuto, using his medical prowess, can tell that the sword that Akame has is like riddled to shit with poison, like insta-kill style poison. And basically, Kabuto was like, ain't letting that happen. And also, it's way too damn similar to Kusanagi. Like, what the hell's going on here? It's not an extendy sword like Kusanagi, but it's definitely still very poisonous. So he would try to get out of the way of. He would definitely try to get out of the way of Akame, but that's the problem. By getting out of the way of Akame, he basically gets in the way of Ryuku. And basically, she just pulls the two-sword thing, like, oh, you thought I only had one sword. No, I have two swords. And then basically, I forget what the name of the attack is, but it's like the one where, like, there's a planet, and then there's like, it's like colliding, into each other. And after that, there's just like a bloody, messed up corpse of Kabuto. Because dude legit did not see that coming. Like, Ryuko just decided, like, he's a scumbag. He's a dirty ass scumbag. So yeah, not even gonna give you a chance. So yeah, basically the mission of the left wing team being basically retrieving retrieving Taki's Jinchuriki, and the mission of the right wing team basically stopping the whole invitation, to get onto the party with the sound and sand, basically stopping that from happening. Both mission success! Double mission success! So, yeah. And as for if Fu is going to become, a part of them, either the left wing or the right wing, well, Fu, it's not like Fu isn't kind of like be in contact with them at all. Like, there's even like this little card exchange. Like, now she's like, have our card just in case. And so like just gives the card and just like, wonder what this could be used for. And basically, Fu just stealing the sealing array, and Chome being like, oh, that's that. She's like, Chome just being aware that that is really a self destruct, like insta self destruct, if any sort of chakra familiarity to anyone, after the Beiju, Akatsuki. So basically, if she ends up getting hunted down by the Akatsuki, basically by activating the sealing array on the card, she can just, if she can't really take them down herself, she's gonna, go in peace, take them down with her. Yeah, basically, it's a Akatsuki nuke. Like, just nuke an Akatsuki with, like, one flick of, like, chakra from the user, and it would automatically notice the Akatsuki chakra, and would, like, knock them the frick out. That is unless you were to point in, like, a certain direction, so that you didn't get hit. And Chome at least decides to tell Fu this because Chome does not want to have to go back into the whole cycle again of like being reborn again and again and again. Because Chome actually doesn't need like Fu. So yeah, basically Chome doesn't need tell about that. And Fu's like, oh, so that's what all this means. And Chome's like, Fu? That's Fuin Jutsu. I was like, it's Fuin Jutsu. Calligraphy, like chakra calligraphy and shit. So yeah, as for that, I think we are done here, man. I think we have been done here. I don't see any doubts. Let's go to our memories. Like, you gotta hear your boys like, subscribe. That little bell. I'm about to get to Jalapeno slashes. Eat and misdirection. Deuces.